So we need to have a serious conversation. With AI advancing and the job market shifting every single day, the safe 9 to 5 doesn't really feel safe anymore, unfortunately. The best time to build a second stream of income or another stream of income, or at least a new skill set, which is hopefully AI proof, is yesterday. But here's the problem. You know you need to build a safety net, but you're exhausted. You come home from work and you have absolutely nothing left. Well, in this video, I am not giving you productivity tips, right? Or productivity hacks. I'm going to show you the 3 system shifts I use to maintain momentum even when life gets chaotic. Now, this is a structure that protects you from burnout and layoffs. So the core of the strategy is the ability to reset. So I've created my free weekly reset blueprint that teaches you how to get back on track in 30 minutes rather than spiral into panic. If you want to build resilience, you 100% absolutely need this tool. So simply comment weekly reset. I'm going to send it to you, or you can click the link in the description box and download the blueprint for yourself. And if you are an ambitious professional who wants to build sustainable productivity systems that gives you the ability to grow your side hustle while working full-time without sacrificing your sanity, hit that subscribe button and let's get to work. All right, I have a confession, right? I actually hate productivity hacks. For a long time, watching all the beautiful aesthetic morning routine videos did not inspire me at all. It just overwhelmed me. And maybe it's a me thing, but I'm sure a lot of you go through that, right? Where you become overwhelmed by all of this productivity hacks and tips and videos online. Talking as someone who has productivity videos online, I know what I'm talking about, but just keep following me. I tried planners. I tried color-coded calendars. I have read all sorts of productivity books. And don't get me wrong, I did learn from a lot of those books. I really did. But that was after I actually decided to implement the one thing strategy to my reading system. And yes, I have a reading system, right? And this is because reading all of these productivity books did overwhelm me. Like, it was just a lot. Like, okay, I have to do all of these things, but what should I do? Like, it was a lot. So I had to implement the one thing strategy, and I talk more about that in this video right here. Make sure you watch it to learn more about what my reading system is, reading strategy, reading system, whatever. And I know you're not alone, because I was on a discovery call with one of my new clients recently, and she told me I watch self-help videos every single day. She said, I know all the tips, I know all the hacks, time blocking, planning, blah, 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 but nothing seems to work or nothing seems to stick. Now that broke my heart, but it did not surprise me at all. We are drowning in tips and hacks and information, but we are still disorganized, still burned out, and still feeling behind. And why is that? Because the hack is the band-aid, right? It doesn't fix the root cause of your productivity struggles. And this is why my clients, including the same woman, feel relief when they start working with me after 1 week, because we stop trying to copy someone else's routine. We clarify who you are and what you want, and we build a system that fits your real life and the life that you want to have. And it is one that has all the messiness and all, right? Not just some fantasy version of it. So let's talk about the perspective shift. And this is control versus outcome. Let's start with the root cause of why you feel unproductive even when you're working hard. And it is simply because your definition of productivity is broken. Most of us define productivity by outcome. I am productive if I get 1,000 views. I am productive if I get a client. I am productive if I get a promotion. Now, all of those things are good, right? All of those things are things you should strive for, basically. But here's the hard truth. You really cannot control the outcome. There are a lot of goals and ambitions that you have that for the most part you really cannot control the outcome, or when you actually get to that outcome. You cannot control the YouTube algorithm, right? You cannot control your boss's budget or a client's bank account. When you attach your self-worth to things that you cannot control, you are simply setting yourself up for chronic disappointment. So you need to shift your focus on inputs. Right? True productivity is about the inputs, the things that you can control. You can control scripting a video. You can control setting maybe 5-page emails to potential clients. You can control learning a new skill for 30 minutes, right? Now, when you switch your goal from get 1 client to send 10 proposals, what you do is you regain your power. You stop riding the emotional roller coaster of did it work, and you start building a track record of did I actually show up? And this leads us to the prediction phase, right? Because this is the magic part. And one of my clients asked me, like, okay, yeah, that makes sense, but don't we need results? The answer is yes. Yes, you do need results, or we do need results. But here's the thing. Results come from consistent input. At first, the outcome is mastery. It's not necessarily the goal, the North Star. It is mastery. That is what you're striving for. But if you control the inputs long enough, consistently, what you can control becomes predictable. And that is when you start to know that, okay, if I send 20 email proposals, which is the input, I usually get one client, which is the output, right? Now, at this point, you're not just gambling. You're operating a machine. You are operating from empirical data. So stop judging yourself by the harvest, right? You want to judge yourself first by the planting. Now, the second system we're going to talk about is the safety net. And this is where we go from goals to systems. Now, this is where most people get it wrong. We are obsessed with the goal. We make vision boards, we write down our revenue targets. But here's the reality. You do not rise up to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Goal is just a North Star. It tells you where to go. But a system is the vehicle that actually gets you there. Having a goal to start a business is nice, right? Everyone should have that goal. However, having a recurring Tuesday night block called business development is a system. Having a goal to post on LinkedIn is a wish. However, having a template, an SOP that you fill out every maybe Saturday morning is a system. And why does this matter? Because life happens. This is the crisis test right here. The economy shifts. You might get sick. God forbid, you might get laid off. I mean, in this economy, that's more likely than not, unfortunately. So you want to go from being a goal setter to a system builder. And I'm going to give you the difference. So let's talk about the goal setter first. When crisis hits, the person with only a goal panics. They stare at a blank page, paralyzed by fear, trying to figure out, oh, what do I do now? What do I do next? However, a system builder, the person with a system, relies on their structure. They do not have to use willpower. They just execute the protocol. So, for example, when I got laid off, I did not panic scroll. I simply activated my system. And this helps you because if you build a system right now where you have the after work routines, if you unfortunately get laid off, what's going to happen? You are simply going to reset and get back to work, which most likely you are going to turn that focus to your side projects, to your side hustle, right? Because you've already built that system. You're not going to sit there wondering, oh, what should I do? What should I do right now? You're not going to get to the point where you just stay home and you have nothing to do. If you've already built your system, you are simply going to redirect your focus. You are going to reset and you're going to figure out, okay, now, when do I work on my side hustle? When do I actually start applying for jobs, right? So systems helps you reset faster. The system removes the thinking so you can actually get to the doing. Because panic is expensive, right? But structure is free. So you want to build a system right now when things are calm, things are moving per se, so it can catch you and sustain you when things get chaotic. Because unfortunately, every now and then we do have these moments and these situations and circumstances that come up. With systems, it helps you reset faster and get to the doing. So I have a question. Do you ever feel intimidated by those productivity influencers with the perfect white desks and their 10 steps morning routines? Honestly, it makes me feel messy just looking at them sometimes. So let me know in the comments. Does aesthetic productivity inspire you, or does it just stress you out and make you feel like you are not doing enough? Now, this brings me to the final and most important rule of sustainable productivity, and that is the simplification, because friction is the enemy. So if your system takes 5 clicks to open, or if you have to fill out 10 fields just to track a task, you're simply not going to do it when you're tired on a Thursday evening. You will abandon it because that is just too many steps. So what you want to do is the system audit. I want you to look at your current routine, right? Where are you getting stuck? And ask yourself, is this step actually necessary or is it just fancy? And once you get your answer and you realize it's just fancy, go ahead and delete it, right? If a tracker is not giving you data that you actually need or that you actually use, simply delete it. You don't need to be tracking that task or that routine or whatever. If a folder structure is too deep, you want to flatten it. What you want to do is find the easiest, fastest way to make progress. The second thing you want to really implement and have in your mind is that simple and done is better than perfect and late. With a full-time job, a side project, a family, you simply do not have the luxury of perfection, right? Your new mantra should be simple and done. A simple, empty Notion page that gets filled out is better than an aesthetic Notion dashboard that stays empty. A 10-minute workout in your living room is better than a 1-hour gym session that you skip because the drive is simply too far. And the third and final thing you want to implement for simplicity with your system is the resilience factor. Now, why does this matter for long-term safety? Because complex systems break easily. However, simple systems reset quickly. And that right there is what you always want to take note of. You want to be able to reset quickly because, again, things happen, life changes, circumstances, situations, good or bad, it happens, right? So you want to always have the ability to reset quickly. And here's an example. When life throws a curveball, maybe you have a sick kid, you have a crazy week at work, the complex system is going to collapse, right? And it feels sometimes like you have to rebuild the Taj Mahal in order to get back on track. And that is just chaos that you do not need. That is just too much complexity that you don't need. Your systems need to be so simple that you can easily reset when life happens. Because if you have a system that is simple, the reset is easy, right? You don't panic. You just pick up the simple tool and then you start again. Consistency is not about being a robot. It is about how quickly you can recover when you fall off the wagon. And simplicity is the key to that recovery. The goal is not to look fancy. The goal is to make progress. So the simpler the system, the faster the reset. Now, your ability to stay consistent doesn't depend on the fact that you never fail, right? That you never fall off. It depends on your ability to reset quickly when you fail and when you fall off, because it will happen. Things happen. Life happens, right? The economy is going to change. Your life is going to change. Good and not so good things are going to happen. So you cannot rely on motivation and hacks alone, right? They are good, but they are not sustainable. You want to rely on a system that is simple enough to survive the changes that come about in your life. So if you want to actually build that system, you want to start with my free 7-step weekly reset blueprint. This is the exact tool I use to reset every single week when things change, right? Every month. This is the exact same tool that I use. I use the system to simplify my friction points and get back on track. So simply comment weekly reset down below. I'm going to send it to you, or click the link in the description box and download this guide for yourself. With that said, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you like the video, subscribe to this channel, share with someone who needs a productivity boost or who needs to learn systems so that they can easily reset when life changes. Thanks again for watching. Make sure you watch the video on the screen next, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.